Hello, welcome to Swiss Watch King. We are today in Hong Kong, the city of watches, delicious food, and also amazing watch collectors. I'm here with Mark Cho, the founder of the Armory, and also Drake's, and an awesome watch collector, and somebody that I've been actually admiring from afar, online for a long time. And we've met a couple of times here and there in Switzerland, but I'm happy to be here finally to see this beautiful space in person, to see how you collect, what you collect, and also how you think. So thank you for having me here.
Listen, man, my pleasure. It has been a while since I've seen you. I'm very happy to see you because we had a great time in Zurich, and you gave me great hospitality. You really took care of me over there, so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And likewise here as well.
No, not at all. We're only just getting started.
Yes, it's good to hear. So tell us, where are we now actually? What's this space? Because I know it's newly renovated.
So this room is called the Armory Study. And the Armory Study is the Armory's cigar lounge in Hong Kong, but it's also my office. So I just sit right there at that table back there. And I spend a lot of time in here in the day and probably in the evenings as well, to be honest. We just finished a little renovation. I just wanted to touch it up a little bit because I actually moved out of London and I needed somewhere to put all my furniture. And so this is my old dining table from London.
Nice.
We're sitting in my old dining table chairs. This is like my little home.
And this whole building, I saw there's a Philips there as well. Is the whole floor like yours, or is it like a?
It's Mark Choland. No, it's no. This floor was something that I came up with during COVID. Everyone's kind of like, shit, we don't know what to do. So I said, look, let's try and make like a little private shopping arcade upstairs, really private, really quiet, really intimate. And so I built the whole thing. And then at first, people didn't really believe in the concept. So I had to actually like run all of the shops. Like I brought in my friends' brands, ran lots of pop-ups on this floor. And then people saw the potential of it and then came in and rented it. And now I just have to handle my study here and the Armory down the hall as well.
But today we're going to talk about your watch collecting. It's very across the board, from more affordable pieces to piece uniques. So what was the first watch that got you into collecting?
So my first watch, Omega Chronoshop from the 1970s, single button chronograph with a 1-minute timer, gray dial. At the time I bought it because I just thought the color was amazing. I really liked the case design as well. This was back in the early 2000s, and I took the paycheck for my first job and I went to this watch shop that used to be on the way to work. I would walk by every day, and I bought it. And back then, like vintage watches, that wasn't even really a term people used. Like these were just used watches. These were just secondhand goods. So they traded for really cheap, and it was kind of eye-opening for me as a young man because I was like, wow, these things are so beautiful and so cheap. And obviously the world has changed a lot since then.
So the first thing I think I remember from your collecting is this FP Journe.
This is one of my favorite watches. I'm very lucky to own it. What happened was I used to collect FP Journes. This was way before it blew up. And like FP Journes were really very affordable at one point. I was collecting them, and one day I ended up with one called the Octa Divine 36, which is the only 36mm watch FP ever made. I liked it, but the date wheel stopped advancing. And so I took it to FP Journe's boutique. I'd bought this watch from a dealer. I took it to FP Journe's boutique and I said, hey, this watch that I bought secondhand from a dealer, it's not working anymore. Can you fix it? Like, yeah, sure. They took it. And then I get an email back from the company CEO, from Pierre Halimi, CEO of USA. And he's like, unfortunately, this is a stolen watch and you have to provide all the information about this watch. Like, how did you get it? How did you pay for it? Blah, blah, blah. And so I said, yeah, totally, I understand. I was shocked, obviously, but I understood that they needed to start doing the paperwork. Luckily, I had the whole email chain with the dealer. I had my wire receipts, so at least it showed that I bought it in good faith. Like I didn't steal it or anything like that. And he said, okay, well, unfortunately, we have to confiscate the watch because it is a stolen good. We were both very civil about the whole thing. Pierre was like, well, why don't you come meet us at the New York boutique sometime? And I said, yeah, sure. So I came and I went and had a coffee with him at the New York boutique. And then it so happened that two of my really big clients walked in one after another into his boutique. And they greeted me, and so Pierre was like, it seems like we actually probably have some overlap in our businesses. We started to do events together, so we do joint Armory FP Journe events. And then, Pierre was like, hey, I know you always loved smaller watches. If you want, I'll make you one. I'm like, really? Oh, that's really cool. Okay. And then Pierre was super generous, actually. He was like, and if you want, you can borrow anything out of my collection so you can get a feel for it. So I was like, well, I've always wanted to try a resonance. And so he lent me his resonance for 6 months. And I actually asked, hey, can we make a few of these so I can offer it to my clients? And he said, yeah, sure. So we made 5 of the final 38 millimeter resonances to ever come out of FP Journe's factory in platinum.
Back then, did people understand the watch, or did you have a hard time to sell it, basically?
I didn't have that hard a time selling it, but FP Journe was like not as hot as it is now.
Yeah.
And one of my clients after was like, yeah, I basically bought that for you as a favor. And I'm like, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping me. So the stolen one, I went to the original dealer and I was like, oh, you sold me a stolen watch. Like, you should probably give me my money back.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, but
good.
we'll tell you who sold us the stolen watch and you can go chase them. And I was like, well, I don't know. I don't think I can do that. And so I went to court, got a lawyer, started writing letters, blah, blah. And then it was about to go to court and then they settled last minute. So they settled, I got my money back. I lost a little bit on the legal fees, but it's okay. And then, because Pierre's such a good guy, he was like, oh, I think I can get that watch back for you. Like, I think I can buy it back from the insurance company for you. It's like, really? And so he got it back for a great price. And then he did the servicing, so the date wheel worked again. And I got that watch back as well.
So one of my favorite watches ever, and I still mention this on many podcasts that I'm on now, is this Christian Klings, which I shot back in the day.
During one of Philips's auction previews in Hong Kong, they were also doing an exhibition of independent watchmakers. Hajime Soka, Christian Klings was there, a bunch of other brands as well. And among all those watches, there's the Klings sitting in its display case, and you just see it, and you're like, wow, there's something a little different, a little special about that watch, And so I asked someone to take it out so I could handle it. And I was like, this is amazing. I think because I work with craftsmen, I work with handmade goods a lot. Like you kind of can tell when something is handmade. It has like this sort of like slight imperfection, slight charm to it that you just don't see with something that's very industrially made. I checked with SJX first, actually, because SJX actually knew Klings. I was like, hey, what do you think of this guy? He's like, oh, the work is good. Could take a while though. And I said, no problem. And so I got in touch with Klings by email, and it took a while. This was about a 3-year process, but he made everything by hand. He did it by himself. And I worked with him a lot on the design, so the proportions of certain things, the color combinations. But it's just a remarkable piece of work.
Gorgeous.
And I got to know him pretty well in that process. And so I actually interviewed him for Rob Report as well. It's an article worth reading, not because I wrote it, but because the guy is really interesting. And the guy is really like a product of Eastern Germany at that time of the world, and he's a very unique set of circumstances coming together to make beautiful watches like this.
Also, a few other editions you've made during the last years are here as well.
Yeah, slowly somehow the Armory, maybe because I've always been interested in watches, has evolved into doing more and more watch-related activities. Back in 2022, we did the Total Eclipse with Moser.
I remember this one.
We're hoping to bring that back one day in some new version. But this was a wonderful project. And I got to say, I love the Malins.
Yeah.
Like Edouard, Bertrand, that whole team, they're awesome. They're really awesome people.
Is this a Vanta Black dial?
Yes.
Yeah?
So
Awesome.
the idea was, typically when Moser works with Vanta Black, it's more about like highlighting the dial and the blackness of the dial. But for me, what's interesting about Vanta Black is what you put next to it. Like, because Vanta Black has this ability to amplify the things around it. So we actually tried to add as much detail as possible around the Vanta Black. So we cut little holes in the dial, and that shows a little silver disc underneath, and that forms the markers. We use Breguet hands, which I think the shape really comes out beautifully. And then we also added a polished inner bezel.
What are the other ones here as well?
Unimatic, great guys. We're good friends with them. We made this, the Blue Notte. So the Blue Notte is inspired by like just ripples in a lake, Like sometimes you see that circular pattern on like subdials of, let's say, like chronographs, Speedmasters. We blew that up, turned that into an entire dial, used like big heavy markings, and this was like the Armory Sport watch.
Awesome. So these are all sold.
These are all gone.
A long time ago.
These are all gone. Yeah, all our collabs sell out. Thankfully, thank God. This was the Paulin. This is actually the second version of the Paulin. A little 34 millimeter C-shaped case with a quartz movement.
It's cool that it's open, in the back.
It's fun, right? And then we call it the Hong Kong dial because, there's like the classic Rolex California dial, or some people know it as the error-proof dial. And, those dials are distinguished by the fact that they're half Arabic numeral, half Roman numeral. So we thought, it'd be fun to make half Roman numeral, half Chinese numeral. And that's what we did here.
That's beautiful. Hong Kong is very diverse, so I think it captures the city perfectly.
I think so, yeah.
By the way, if you want to learn about style and fashion and tips, check out the YouTube channel. It's awesome. The next watches here, I think you're very known for Cartier as well.
Oh, yeah.
And you said you brought just a few here. They're very special because of, I think, they're bracelets, right? They're all on bracelets here. Some of them are stock from Cartier. and some of them not. So tell us something about this Louis Cartier here.
In fact, weirdly, the story actually starts here. Like, I've always loved the Centre. I think the Centre is just one of the most beautiful designs ever. And I've always wanted to have a Centre with a bracelet. And so 3 years ago, I actually went to Cartier and I was like, can you make a Centre with a platinum bracelet? Like everything in platinum. Because actually, even in the past, they used to make those bracelets in white gold, not in platinum for the platinum heads. And so after a lot of back and forth, they said, okay. And then I designed a dial. So it's baby blue and navy. I also offered this to a couple of my clients too. So we made 10 of these. But in that 3 years of waiting, like 2 years ago, I actually met this craftsman in Hong Kong who said he could make bracelets. I was like, okay, let's give it a try. And so we made bracelets and they were great. And I started offering to people. And then this is one of the favorite styles of bracelet we ever made. So this is a Tank Louis Cartier with the mosaic dial. So the mosaic dial Tank Louis Cartier was a special edition from a couple of years ago. And it's called mosaic dial because it's 3 colors of gold. So it's white, yellow, and pink gold all mixed together on the dial. And we made a matching bracelet that's also white, pink, and yellow to go with that dial.
Beautiful. Because this watch comes on a strap, right?
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
So now you basically just extended the dial into the strap. So these are for sale or just for you, or what's the deal? Like, because I know that many people love bracelets as well, especially Cartier doesn't make so many of them. Are these available to buy, or they contact you and you can order them, or what's the deal?
They're too expensive for us to stock, but we do take custom orders for them. So it's 7-link brick style. We based it on how the old bracelets used to be back in like 30s. And, get in touch, we can do a custom length. We can actually also do this bracelet for other brands of watches. So on Louis Cartiers and Centres, we actually make fitted end links, but we can make it with what's called a pipe. So they can just fit on any watch. Nice. And it's a good look that way too.
It's beautiful. It's very well made.
Thanks, man.
When I saw this, when you pulled them out, I thought it's the same guy. So, I mean, not to bash Cartier, but I think the work of this craftsman is exceptional.
Oh, thanks, man.
On this one as well.
Yeah. And this is the anniversary Centre. So it's a little bit thinner than what they use for the NSOs and for the other modern Cartiers. These are watches that aren't crazy expensive, but I just think they're cool, they're beautiful, and if I go to places where I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't wear something too valuable, then I bring
one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your go-to?
If it's gonna be something casual and in the hot, then I would want to wear something with a rubber strap. Otherwise, I like with a bracelet with a leather strap. Although this is cool. This is the Tudor Black Bay 54 for the Armory.
That's cool.
So we were actually the first and only ever Hong Kong company to get a double-signed Tudor. And
when was that?
That was last year.
But also sold out.
Also sold out. Yeah. I mean, this obviously, with these things, we're not allowed to talk about it publicly as a company. Me as a private collector, it's probably fine. Yeah. I hope, knock on
And something. I can show it as well on the channel.
Yeah.
And this one also spoke to me a bit. It's very funky looking.
This is super interesting. So this is designed by a gentleman named Alan Chan, who I'm just a huge fan of. I mean, if you are in the world of design, especially in Asia, and you don't know Alan Chan, it means you just don't work in design, period.
Okay.
Like, this is the only time he's ever done a project on watches. So that was a dial that he designed originally for Seiko. It was a clock. And the idea behind it was that these are all Chinese numerals, but as the minute hand passes through each kind of character, it completes the character.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Because that's not a 4, right? Until that is in place like that.
No idea, but I'll
just take my word for it.
Just
I
trust you.
But for me, as someone who also has to design things from time to time,
cool, yeah.
What's fascinating is that Chinese numerals are really, really difficult to put on a dial because the 11 and the 12 are 2 characters, not 1 character. And so it can really throw off the balance of the watch, right? We learned that the hard way when we were doing the Hong Kong dial, because with the Hong Kong dial, because it's an error-proof dial, there's no Asian 11, Asian 12. It's only Roman at the top. Yeah. So we could overcome it that way. But he overcame it in his own really elegant way with that watch.
Meeting you is always fun because I see watches I only see on Instagram. So how did you find out about Pastime Masa? What's the account's name?
Masa's Pastime.
Masa's Pastime.
Yeah. I've known Masa for a long time, actually. He's made me watches before. So Masa started as a restoration specialist, especially for pocket watches. And over the years, he built this really wonderful team of just craftsmen and watchmakers. And they got to a point where they could make everything themselves. So they make their own dials, they make their own cases, they do their own engraving, they do their own movements, all of it's in-house. And they now have a little lineup of 3 models. So it's the Sohoku, the Nagi, and the Naoya Model A, I believe. This particular one's a Sohoku, and because I've known Masa for so long, as a favor, he said he would make some changes for me. So I asked him to make this in white gold and shakudo rather than rose gold and shakudo. You see these darker colors, this kind of like blue-black?
Yeah.
Shakudo is a very ancient Japanese alloy made of copper. I think it's 95 or 97% copper, and then a little bit of gold. And when you make this alloy and you boil it in a chemical solution, it will turn it black blue. And in fact, you're basically just boiling that chemical solution to accelerate the oxidization. If you were to ever scratch this case, it would be orange, but then over a couple of months, it would actually go back to this color. So if you look at Japanese antiques, you'll find some shakudo antiques. They will always be this color, and they'll stay like that forever. It's an awesome, awesome material.
And because they have knowledge of pocket watches as well, they probably combine, mix the two worlds.
Exactly. So, mid case is in shakudo,
Beautiful.
bezel, and the case back is in white gold. The lugs are screwed in, so they're created as separate pieces and then plugged into the rest of the watch. The dial is amazing, as are the hands. K is the name of the engraver, super talented guy. And these patterns on the dial, those are not by guilloche, those are by hand.
Wow.
Yeah, so he makes this beautiful
lot of patience.
kind of fine geometric pattern on the dial and subdial. And then these hands are engraved as well. So the hands aren't stamped out. That's why they're so fine and they come to such a sharp point.
Beautiful.
Right? So the numerals here are actually rhodium plated to give them that shine.
And the movement? They also
Movement's
make
in-house. So Masa and his team designed this movement, and because of their years of working with pocket watches, their emphasis when it comes to movement is reliability. So they really want to make like tough, robust movements that anyone can service. Obviously they finish them beautifully, but actually they're very sort of simple and solid movements. I mean, I love the ratchet click there too.
Yeah.
The ratchet click, that engraving on the balance cock's amazing as well.
It's gorgeous. And just the simplicity of the movement. It doesn't want to be too much, just perfect the way it is.
I like the shape of the bridges a lot,
Yeah. And then something also which I like a lot, Naoya Hida.
So, I mean, Hida-san and I have been good friends for a long time as well. I was his 5th customer back when he was just getting the brand started. I had seen that watch on SJX and I was like, wow, that's really cool. And I happened to be in Japan. And so I went to go and see it in person. I was like, wow, that's just fabulous. And I bought one, and I actually convinced another client to buy one too. Hida-san was just such a pleasure to deal with. I was like, do you ever want to do something together in Hong Kong? Because if you do, let me know. And so that turned into a good relationship for me as a dealer. And then I was like, listen, could we do a special design together? And he's like, for you guys? Yeah, sure. And so me and my partner in crime for watch design, Elliot Hammer, and we came up with this. This is called the letter cutter. So the letter cutter, the idea is that we were imagining what it was like to cut letters into stone. Like, what are the shapes that would be necessary to cut a beautiful, legible letter into stone? And then we created this font face, and then we made some changes to his dial design, and thus we have the letter cutter.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, because Hida-san's obviously known for his very thick and deeply engraved numerals. I mean, that's one of his key things, and I think that really comes out well in this. We filled also the numerals with blue, which was something unique. People are always like, I don't understand it, why is it so expensive, blah, blah, but when you see it in person, you get it.
Yeah. Another brand I love dearly is Otsuka Lotec from Jiro Katayama.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky to still own the number 6 Meteorite.
Yeah, that was
no, I'm not selling.
buy. That was an amazing watch. I am a movement guy. I'm a design guy. But at the end of the day, generally watches, I need to be able to wear them. I make very few exceptions for that. This one's like borderline for me because I have small wrists. It's like a little bit big for me, but I like Katayama-san so much and I like the watch so much. I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I met Katayama-san just, I don't know, through kind of the Japanese watch world. We shot some video together. I also hosted him and a bunch of other Japanese watchmakers in this room, actually, for the Tokyo auction. You remember last year, Philips did that great auction called the Tokyo auction. And it was funny because we had Katayama-san in here, we had Kikuno-san in here, we had Hida-san in here, and we had Ahsoka-san here? I think Ahsoka-san couldn't make it.
Yeah.
But basically we had like all the Japanese watchmaking greats in here watching the auction live stream because they didn't want to sit in the auction room for like hours, right? Yeah. So we were smoking, drinking, and just watching the auction. And then because their lots were right at the end, then we took a taxi over in the last sort of 45 minutes of the auction to go and be live for their couple of lots. It was awesome. And then we came back here to celebrate. And that's when I found out Kikuno-san loves video games. And so we were playing Hades 2 on our TV back here till like 2 a.m.
And that's Kikuno from Masahiro Kikuno, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I got to see his minute repeater too, which was
He's
really
fun. He's a fun guy, yeah? I asked him, why did you make the repeater terribly on monopusher? He's like, I just wanted to make one, you know. I'm like, sure, man. Awesome.
But you know, the other piece of that story is that because he teaches still, and so he did everything for that minute repeater tourbillon on like a $10,000 CNC machine. And he was trying to demonstrate to his students that like, look, even with like basic equipment, you can do a lot. You can really do a lot.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite Grand Seikos in the modern catalog. So this is basically the great-great-grandson of the Grand Seiko First from 1960. You know, same design language, but some really, really unusual changes for this particular special edition. So firstly, the case is titanium, which I believe is like one of the very few examples of titanium Grand Seiko Firsts. And then the dial. So the dial is black urushi lacquer, and then the markings are formed with gold. That's a technique called makie. So what happens is you do the urushi lacquer black base, and then, because urushi is like a sticky tree sap, right? You paint on invisibly where the markings should go, and then you sprinkle gold dust on top, and that's what forms the markings. And if you think about it, there aren't very many Grand Seikos that don't have applied markers. This is actually one of the very, very few that doesn't have applied markers. And I just think like as a technique and as an overall look, it's really just one of the most beautiful Grand Seikos ever made.
Yeah, beautiful. I know the materials because I also collect fountain pens.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
So I know, from Japanese fountain pens, makie, urushi. It's very traditional. So vintage, you started with vintage basically with your Miga.
I mean, I started with vintage because it was cheap. It was cheap and there were beautiful things available. And then it kind of got a little out of control, as you can see on this table.
So what's your favorite from this tray? I mean, they're all very different. So we have a very dressy reference number.
96.
Patek Philippe.
Yeah, 96 in platinum that Patek restored for me.
Beautiful numerals, huh?
Yeah, it's very beautiful. Like just the overall effect. And then like that vertical brushing on the dial is really great. Very early one. This was from the 30s.
And then the complex one, which we just spoke about.
You know, I think this is a good candidate for like if you could only own one watch in your entire life, the 3970 perpetual calendar chronograph.
Exactly.
Beautiful case, beautiful everything.
Movement as well. Great size. Is it a 39 or?
I think it's 36. And then I like the height. I love the case. I love the fact that like that curvature just wraps around the entire watch. Every aspect of that watch is perfect.
It's perfect, yeah. Some German watchmaking here, just to mix it up a bit, to be international fully.
To be international, exactly. I need some Polish watches on the table. A 34 millimeter Lange Saxonia, among the very first that they released. I've always loved this design. I think that this is actually my favorite Lange design. It's just really weird to have like the logo right across the middle from 9 to 3, still has the big date. I like the thickness, I like the heft of it. And the blue dial to me is the best variation of that whole series. It came a little bit later. They didn't produce that many of them, but I think it's just such a perfect shade of blue.
Yeah, because it's similar to your Journe, just darker.
Exactly, a couple shades darker. The Lange blues in general are kind of fascinating. Like they're always different. You know, every time they release a blue, they don't use the same one. They actually use different shades of it. Some are a little bit more green, some are a little bit more red. I prefer the slightly more reddish blues, like closer to navy, because they tend to wear a lot better. The greenish ones, like once you have it on the skin, depending on the skin tone, can be a little bit tough to wear.
And then this wild card here.
I don't know a ton about it. I just saw it and I was like, that is absolutely gorgeous.
It's actually a watch, right?
It is actually a watch, yeah.
You open it from this side.
That's right.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, new young dealer, arrow in time, but good taste. Like great fine, old Blancpain.
Is it white gold or steel or?
It's white gold, but you know, given the weight, I don't think it's entirely white gold. I think it's probably the exterior parts are white gold, and then the mesh underneath might not be white gold.
And thankfully, fits you.
Thankfully, it fits me. Yes.
I don't think I can put it on my wrist.
No, I think it fit on your pinky. That's about it. Something I really love is 34 millimeter quartz Royal Oaks. Like I just love the way they feel. I love the way they sit. You know, super low profile, like truly a shrunken version of the Royal Oak Jumbo. Because if you get the automatic versions, because of the movement, they're a little bit thicker. The quartz ones are really, really thin, really, really elegant.
Is it a blue dial or a black dial?
This one is blue dial, princess cut diamond, and in platinum.
Let me see. It's heavy for a small watch.
Yeah.
And again, the blue is similar to the Lange.
Yeah, I guess I have a theme.
And the Journe.
Yeah. I don't actively go out looking for blue dial watches, by the way. It just seems to like happen.
Well, it seems like it now.
Yeah. I should have brought more white dials today.
Gorgeous.
And then I do want to mention this because I think this is something that is worth every collector having a look at. So I sold all my Nautiluses over the years, but recently I had the itch again. I was like, I got to get back into it because I really miss having a Nautilus. And, you know, I've owned 3700s, I've owned 3800s, Never owned any of the larger ones because they were just too big for me. But the one that I was always curious about was the 5800, which is one that not many people are aware of. So the 5800 basically came out about the same time as the 5711. It was the successor to 3800, and they only made it for 2 years. And so there's very few of them out there. You know, what distinguishes them from a normal 3800, it is the modern Nautilus design. The old Nautilus design, the ears are straight. Whereas the modern Nautilus design, like you see on the 5711, the ears are actually curved. So there's a little bit more complexity in the shape of the case. The bracelet tapers a lot more compared to the 3800. It's a see-through case back with the modern movement as well. It's also the modern font for the date window. Like this really feels like a baby 5711, which is exactly what I wanted. So when I did my big watch auction in 2022 to raise money to do this whole project,
I remember that, yeah.
right?
With the Bulgari and stuff like this.
Exactly. There was a Nautilus in that auction. And that Nautilus actually ended up setting the world record for steel 3800 Nautilus. And on the paperwork of that Nautilus, there's a gent's name named Mark Chan. I didn't know who Mark Chan was. I had originally bought that particular steel Nautilus from a dealer named John Nagayama, who you might know on behalf. You know, he wrote the Patek 96 book. Great guy, real Patek expert. Nagayama-san sold me that watch, I think like 13 years ago now. And he had actually received that watch from Mark Chan. And so when the auction came around and publicity was going around, Mark Chan emailed my shop and was like, oh, can I come in and say hi to Mark Cho? And they're like, yeah, sure. So he came in, I met him. He's like, by the way, that's my watch. I'm Mark Chan. I'm like, oh, damn, okay. He was a super nice guy. And we actually became really good friends. And weirdly, actually, he even bought one of these. He's one of the 10 owners of this, right?
Nice.
And, Mark Chan is still like, he's a very low profile collector, but he has some incredible stuff. One day I was like, Mark, do you still have any Nautiluses? I was like, yeah, I've got Nautiluses. It's like, do you have a 5800? I've always wanted a 5800. And he's like, yes, I do. And so that's Mark Chan's 5800. So it seems like all the Nautiluses I buy from Mark Chan in one way or another.
That's your criteria, basically.
Yeah. But I mean, it's perfect. Like you look at it, that's like museum quality. It's got everything, box and papers. It's
and the size is what you said? 36
the size is 37 millimeters.
But again, Gela Gent, I mean, perfect watches.
Do you have a favorite on the table other than the Klings?
So on the table, let's say for me, my gut reaction would be obviously Klings, but the Masa as well. This one, yeah.
You haven't met him yet, right?
Never.
Oh, if you go, like, let me know. I'll introduce you.
I need to go to Japan one day, I think, to do a series in Japan. No, I haven't been yet. The watch on the wrist.
Oh,
maybe one of the most modern watches here, or latest releases.
I love this thing. It's
very cool.
Like, arguably, this is probably my favorite watch of 2025.
Yeah.
I really, really, really like this watch. So this is the Louis Vuitton Tambour Convergence. And I actually really like what Louis Vuitton has been doing in the world of watches. Ever since I discovered the previous Tambour World Time with the little flags, ever since I discovered those flags were hand painted, I was like, oh, they're really serious about this, huh? Like they're really serious about the craftsmanship aspect of it. And so I started to pay more attention to it. And then John Arnault got involved with, Fabrique du Temps and building out that whole collection. I think he's just done a wonderful job. And I just love this. This is like such a beautiful, substantial piece of work.
It is.
Substantial piece of design. What really fascinates me about this at a kind of more meta level is this is a watch that immediately takes on your character. Like you imagine your watch as like your talisman, right? Like something that you keep with you and eventually pass on, right? You kind of want it to acquire a little bit of your patina. And a lot of people never really develop that patina because they baby it too much, right? Like they don't wear it enough and it's in the safe and blah, blah, blah. They kind of have in the back of their mind, oh, maybe I'll flip it one day. This is a watch that basically you'll never be able to flip because the minute you take it out of the box, you've scratched it. Right? And I kind of love that about it. I love the fact that like the minute you're using it, it's going to acquire your personality and it becomes your thing.
And it's super polished, huh? I mean, the mirror polishing is insane.
It's mirror polished and it's very well mirror polished. Like you can actually really see your face in it. But another aspect of this watch I think is really fascinating is people don't really touch their watches. If you think about it, like your watch is covered by a huge piece of sapphire glass. You don't really get that much of an opportunity to like have a physical touch to the watch. But because this is actually mostly case, the feeling of it is very different. And with the Tambour Convergence, obviously this one's mirror polished, but the other one, the platinum one, is diamond studded. And if you like run your hand over the diamonds, you're like, oh, it's got this kind of like organic, almost skin kind of feeling to it. So I don't know. I recommend everyone at least go have a look, because I think what they're doing with the tambour conversion and the tambour series in general is really, really impressive. I'm a big fan.
I agree. I personally love the spin time models.
Yeah.
Because it's more the mechanical side. And some of them on the secondary market, cheap to get.
100%.
The new ones are also very cool. And like you said, I think the direction they're going with the watches, I think, is a good one. So, and the world timer I was also looking at for a long time, because there's two versions. One is the cheaper one, which is not hand painted, and the one is the hand painted version, which is super cool.
It's super cool. And like you said, right, they're actually great value on secondary.
Yes.
You know what else is great value on
For sure.
secondary? Because I'm a huge fan of it as well. The Hermes QP.
Yeah.
Your slim
Yeah.
Hermes perpetual calendar is such a deal.
Yes.
Like, I would wear that all the time. My wrist was a little bit bigger. I wish they made that just like 38, 37. That would be a dream.
I need to check them out because my wrist can basically take
Oh,
on
your wrist
take
would
on
handle
everything.
great.
Yeah. So because you collect watches, but you also daily work in fashion and bespoke suits and everything else, what do you choose first when you wake up? Which watch you wear or which clothing style you wear?
Usually clothes.
Okay.
Usually clothes first. Because at the end of the day, like, these are objects that you wear on your body, you know, and so they say something about you. So you should choose it carefully.
Yeah.
Like, if you're wearing certain palettes, certain styles, you should be trying to find a watch that's coherent with that somehow. You know, like, to me, clothing is a type of communication. Like, I don't hear your voice first, I see your clothing first. And so your clothing needs to say something to me. And if you dress well, it should say something really clearly to me, like it should communicate to me. And the watch is part of that communication.
Thank you so much for hosting us in your beautiful study here.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming, man. It's really good to see you in Hong Kong.
Well, feel good to see you as well. So definitely, guys, if you're in New York or Hong Kong, come to the Armory or the Patek Arcade here, because there's a lot of cool shops to discover. And check out Mark's YouTube channel to learn about, obviously, how to dress. But thank you so much, Mark. Really appreciate it a lot. And hope you guys have enjoyed it. And I'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching.